Well, hi there, and I've got a serious video for you today, and it's going to be quite a long one. I've got a load of notes to go through to help me, but basically I wanted to give you an update on the current situation with NCRQ and to give you some of the background of what's been happening over what has been a number of years, and also to share with you what I've learned from speaking to some ex-members of staff. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is if you are an NCRQ student doing a certificate or a diploma, please get in touch with Hatten Education very, very quickly to register to finish your qualification. I think that is the most important thing, that you are able to finish. Unfortunately, if you are studying a fire diploma, the fire diploma in risk assessment or whatever they call it, then I'm afraid you're going to be out of pocket because Hatten Education are not taking that on. Now, so far, you probably already know this. What I'm about to say might sound as if I'm criticizing NCRQ, and well, I probably am, but I want to make it absolutely clear that even though I am from a NEBOSH background, and people say to me, "You're a NEBOSH man through and through," no, I'm not, actually. I've actually long been a big fan of NCRQ. I've found their marketing to be hilarious, provocative, mischievous, disruptive. I think they've gone too far sometimes, but I'm a bit of a provocative person myself, so I really I enjoyed watching that. And also, whenever someone's come to me asking for a recommendation for a NEBOSH diploma e-learning provider, I've always said that I can't really honestly recommend any of the NEBOSH diploma e-learning providers. Sorry guys. Nothing against them, lovely people, but I can't recommend the courses having seen what I've seen. So I've tended to send people to NCRQ. I've sent so many people to NCRQ that I've often joked that NCRQ should pay me commission. So I'm a huge fan of NCRQ, and there was a time some years ago when I was absolutely sick and tired of the old NEBOSH closed book exams, and to a point where I almost gave up delivering NEBOSH courses. I was so bored of it. And then NCRQ came along and created some competition in what was a very stagnant market. And all of a sudden, what do we see? IOSH launched a level 3 certificate, assessed in a very similar way, and NEBOSH, well, COVID I think helped, but NEBOSH launched open book exams, and it's all focused on understanding and application. And I'm like, well done NCRQ, brilliant, want to see more of that. So with that out of the way, let me share a few things. I've got some concerns over this transfer from NCRQ to Hatten Education. Questions that I have are that, has Hatten Education purchased the qualifications and the copyrighted materials for a fair market value? I don't know. It is illegal for NCRQ or for any company entering insolvency. It's illegal for them to transfer copyrighted assets for zero consideration. So NCRQ legally cannot just give it to Hatten. That's not how it works. Those quals have a value. If they have not done that, then that's illegal. And that's something IOSH needs to address with the insolvency practitioner, because IOSH are a creditor of NCRQ. A large debt is owed by NCRQ to IOSH, and it seems like, and this may be incorrect because there may be stuff I don't know, but it seems like Hatten Education are essentially a Phoenix company. NCRQ has closed to avoid paying a debt, and Hatten Education take the assets, which are the qualifications, and then carry on business as usual. So that's one question. Another question, which is similar, is that I am told by ex-staff that staff over the weekend transferred all of NCRQ's book stock from one office to another. So a small number of staff are continuing to work for Hatten Education, and they carried all the books across. Again, that's stock, and that is an asset, and is that being bought by Hatten Education? If not, then again, it's transfer of stock for zero consideration, which is illegal. And the final question is this: there was this strange little announcement on the Hatten Education website. Let me find it for you here. So this is the information for NCRQ students, and it says in here about the fire course. It says, we are not at this time taking on this qualification. This is the Fire Risk Assessment Diploma. as it is apparent that development of some of the learning materials and assessments had not been completed by NCRQ. What? What? So NCRQ in September, so 1 month ago, publicly launched a diploma in fire risk assessment saying it meets various standards, which I'm sure it does, saying it meets the membership criteria of various organisations like the Institute of Fire Engineers and so on. And what Hatten Education are saying is that the course wasn't actually finished and the assessments weren't finished, and that's why they're not taking it on. Now, I hasten to add, just to remind anyone in case we're unclear, that the person who owns Hatten Education is the same person who owns NCRQ. Let's just double check. Here's NCRQ on Company's House. We have Ian Evans. And then if we go to Hatten Education here, we have Ian Evans. It's you know, the same date of birth and so on. It's the same person. So if the course wasn't finished, why was it launched? Were the students told? This course is like £3,000. So what does AIM qualifications? They are the awarding body. This is the AIM Diploma in Fire Risk Assessment. Do they know? Does Ofqual know? Does Ian know? I don't know. I don't know. But those are my questions. Now let me run you through a bit of a timeline. But I'll just say this. It sounds like I'm being very, very damning, and I want to look at the flip side on this. It does seem damning, but the current arrangement does allow students of the NCRQ certificates and diplomas to finish their studies. And that's a good thing. It means that instead of having hundreds of thousands of people out of pocket, only a small number of people are out of pocket, the fire students. This transfer to Hatten allows people to finish the courses. So I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. But it does seem like there has been an attempt to escape the unpaid debt to IOSH. Now, IOSH have not come out of this without some criticism. I've seen loads of people saying IOSH are in the wrong here, that IOSH should never have pursued NCRQ in the courts. IOSH should never have tried to enforce the debt, which seems to be hundreds of thousands of pounds. I haven't been able to find out the exact figure yet, but I'm on with it. Now, a challenge to that would be if I've just received my invoice for my membership this month, and my invoice is £176, my membership. And I remember when it used to be 100. It's gone up every year. It's gone up significantly. I bet there would be many members, because a lot of members I know do not feel they get good value for money from IOSH. Many of them would be very unhappy to find out that IOSH have let NCRQ off the hook, which means that us, the membership, have to pay the legal fees that we incurred because NCRQ decided to violate some basic trademark rules. So there we are. Right, what else is it to say? Yes, a couple more things. There are two Hattens. There's a Hatten Education and there's a Hatten Qualifications. Both companies are owned by the same person, Ian Evans, who is the director of NCRQ. And I'm told, don't know if this is true, I do not know if this is true, but I'm told that Hatten Qualifications was set up to become an Ofqual regulated awarding body because they were concerned that they were kind of at the mercy of AIM, and AIM could just pull the plug on them at any time. So they decided that they were going to set up their own awarding body and become regulated, and they would have some more independence and uncertainty over the future. Don't know if that's true. Makes sense to me. I think that's a very good idea. I wouldn't blame anyone for doing that. I don't think that's underhand at all. Just to be clear, NCRQ are not accredited or approved by IOSH. If we look at the IOSH website, which I've got here, you can find that it is AIM Qualifications and Assessment Group, who are approved and are approved for the various NCRQ qualifications here. So NCRQ doesn't really get a mention on the IOSH website here at all. It doesn't even mention them there. So it's all under the umbrella of AIM. Right, let me run you through a timeline just to let you know what's been going on in the background. Firstly, back in 2016, NCRQ released their diploma and IOSH refused to accredit that to grad IOSH level. They said, well, I'm not entirely sure what was wrong with it actually, I haven't been able to find out, but it didn't meet the grad IOSH standard apparently, and NCRQ sued IOSH and won. they were sued for abuse of their dominant market position. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That does not surprise me. And so IOSH were forced to give grad IOSH status to NCRQ diploma holders upon application. NCRQ then started a very disruptive marketing campaign, which really had me in absolute giggles, particularly the one about, I can recite all the management regulations, said an unemployed health and safety practitioner. Yeah, it was hilarious. It was really fun. During that time, NCRQ started to become the biggest seller of level 6 diplomas, apparently outselling the NEBOSH diploma, if we are to believe them. Right, 2019. Right, 2019, the future Hatten education was started. It started out as a different company name. It started out as Endeavour Professional Training Solutions. It was incorporated in 2019, very small business, didn't do much, did about £25,000 of business every year. And it stayed as Endeavour for some years. And in 2019, NCRQ are sued by IOSH. In their disruptive marketing campaigns, NCRQ decided to launch an NCRQ Managing Safely course targeted at line managers. IOSH had a very well-established Managing Safely course, and they decided to sue them for a trademark violation, even though it wasn't a registered trademark. But IOSH were successful in their argument, and IOSH won. And NCRQ were ordered to pay, and this is the thing which apparently crippled them in the end, they were ordered to pay the large legal fees back to IOSH, and they haven't apparently, but they were ordered to. Now, during the time from 2019 to 2022, there's quite a big gap. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but if we have a look at the directors of NCRQ, you'll notice that the directors are resigning. We've got one resigning in 2019, we've got 2020, got early 2022, and we've got, recently Holly McLean, who now works for Hatten. She's now a director for Hatten. She resigned just last week. We've got another one in February 2022, January 2022, and then another one in 2020. There's just a leaving, an exodus of directors over quite a long period of time, a couple of years, and I don't know why. It might have something to do with the court costs, the legal problems, and so on. I don't know. Anyway, interestingly, earlier this year, April 2022, IOSH sue NCRQ. Not entirely sure what for. I've requested the documents from the courts. But they're suing NCRQ for something to do with intellectual property and the passing off of trademarks. Case is currently ongoing. Don't know. August 2022, so 2 months ago, Hatten Qualifications is born. A new company is incorporated, and this is potentially the one which is going to become an awarding body in the future. Now, last month, September 22, the Fire Risk Assessment Diploma is launched. I am told that development took a lot longer than expected. It was much more expensive than expected. And despite NCRQ saying it's been a very successful course, I am told that only around 40 people signed up for it in September, which doesn't seem all bad, to be honest. It's £3,000 a pop, so like 40 people, £3 grand, that's actually quite a lot of money. It's 120 grand worth of revenue. But whatever, apparently sales do not meet expectations. That's what I'm told. And interestingly, NCRQ are still hiring new starters. They hired, I think it was 3 people on week commencing the 12th of September. And then the week it closed, 5 people started. So week commencing the 26th of September, 5 people started. And there were 3 more people due to start on the Monday, 3rd of October. And so there's 11 people there, apparently. I'm told, again, don't know if this is true, but this is what staff have told me. So there are new starters coming in. Now, it all ends very abruptly. On the 28th of September, Endeavour Professional Training Solutions changes its name to Hatten Education. So it's starting to happen now. And it also changes its registered address to a new address. The 30th of September, Ian Evans asks for an emergency video call with all staff and announces the sudden insolvency and the immediate loss of all jobs. Staff are stunned, didn't expect any of this, especially the new starters. and everyone is advised to submit claims to the government for their unpaid wages, as is normal when a company goes into insolvency. Most staff, because it's grown very, very quickly, this company, most staff have less than 2 years service with the company and therefore do not qualify for statutory redundancy pay. So it's a bit of a shock for everyone. Same day or the following day, I'm not entirely sure, the NCRQ learning management system goes offline and students can no longer log on. And this causes rumours all over social media as to their potential demise. October then, so the following week, I think it was on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, NCRQ announced publicly on their website that they are in insolvency proceedings. And I've got the declaration here, and they say they put everything into their new fire risk assessment qualification, and there was clearly a huge demand from our students, and it used up much of their reserves. And following the trademark dispute from 2019, another organisation, which is IOSH, is insisting that NCRQ pay 6-figure legal fees. And between the development of the course and the legal fees, they can no longer afford to continue. You can sense a little bit of bitterness and resentment in that. And, well, they've got every right to be bitter and resentful, I suppose. They think they were in the right. And so, you know, they're probably quite aggrieved. Yeah. Hatten Education, same day or the following day, very quickly, they announced that they're going to take over delivery of the NCRQ quals, except for fire, because NCRQ apparently didn't finish the fire course, even though they were selling it. And Hatten are now inviting students to register at no extra charge. The fire students are being advised to speak to their bank or finance or credit provider to see if they can claim a refund from them. If the course was purchased on finance or on credit card, then under the, I think it is the Credit Consumer Act or something like that, they are able to claim the monies back. And also, I guess, finally, IOSH have released a statement. Where is it here? They've released something, a press release, saying that they are concerned, most concerned. And they share the worries of learners, and they're an institution based on integrity and trust. So reading between the lines, IOSH are not too impressed, and they seem to think it's a bit dodgy. I'm reading between the lines there, but yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. They're talking about welfare being paramount, and they are seeking further information from NCRQ and AIM, as it is AIM's qualifications, so IOSH are holding AIM to account on this, and these were solely delivered by NCRQ. So IOSH are of the understanding that it's NCRQ who delivers these courses, not Hatten. What does that mean for the future of the NCRQ diploma? Well, I'd like to think it doesn't mean anything. I'd like to think that IOSH will look at Hatten's processes fairly and the way they administered the courses and tutored the courses, and I would like to think that everything is going to be done properly from a quality and tutoring point of view, and IOSH will rubber stamp it and students can carry on as normal. But that statement does suggest that, well, it suggests that they're concerned and there is a potential risk that the NCRQ diploma will no longer be recognised by IOSH. I think it's unlikely that it's going to get taken off the list, honestly, and I hope it doesn't. But it is possible, so we'll just have to wait and see on that. Anyway, that was a long video. Not even sure if LinkedIn will accept it. If you know anything else, got any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll try and help. And if I'm wrong on anything, please let me know and I'll retract it straight away. Anyway, see you later.